So like I would consider doing 2 or more videos a week, but I'm a lazy bitch, so that's not gonna happen. What's up? I'm Greg, welcome back to my channel. So in case you couldn't tell from the title of this video, it's gonna be a review video. And today I'll be reviewing The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. This is actually an arc that I got from Ryan Douglas himself. I found out via my friend Trey that the Ryan Douglas was giving away arcs for Black queer YouTubers, and I'm just like, hey, that's me now. I can apply for this. So it came in, I think, last week, and I read it in about 3 days. But I'm just gonna review this now. I gave it 4.5 stars. I will be putting trigger warnings in the video, but also in the description below because there are some trigger warnings to this. So yeah, let's dive on into this. So The Taking of Jake Livingston is about Jake, obviously, who is a medium. And in this book, the ghosts, or the majority of the ghosts he sees, are somewhat trapped in loops. And in these loops, they're just reliving the way they died over and over and over again for, I guess, all of eternity. And honestly, that kind of sucks. But Jake also doesn't really know what to do about that, and he is very shy, and he always wants to be perfect. So like, he avoids confrontation at all costs. Like, and I do mean at all costs. Well, it gets weird like halfway through. Anyway, shit starts to hit the fan when Jake is actually confronted by a ghost. It's like a little while before the books. It's like, or like the current time of the book, there was a school shooting by some kid named Sawyer. And you know, as these school shootings go, Sawyer was just like a troubled white kid with access to guns, and he decided to shoot up 6 people. And then he killed himself because, you know, reasons. But Sawyer isn't done, because Sawyer was so vengeful that he became like a special kind of ghost, and he actually got to, I'm just gonna say, like, haunt people. I don't want to give too much away. I'm gonna try and be like as spoiler free as possible. If there is a spoiler, I will put a warning, but I'm just gonna try and be as spoiler free as possible. So yeah, Sawyer confronts Jake because Sawyer wants to continue murdering people, and Jake is just like, no. But you know, Jake is still a little, like, I'm gonna say weak, and throughout the book, obviously, you know, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger until he eventually beats him, because the book does have an happily ever after. I mean, does that count as a spoiler? You know what? No. The book has happily ever after. What do you expect? It's YA. So one thing I didn't know about the book going in was it is dual POV. So you see it from Jake's side and from Sawyer's side. And Sawyer has a lot of issues. Like, a lot of issues. But one thing I really like about this book is that, you know, when like these things happen, like school shootings, and the media is just like, oh, this kid was troubled because this and this and this, and they try to make you feel some sympathy. Yeah, that does not apply here. I mean, at some point I did kind of feel bad for Sawyer because he did go through some shit, but the dude is just evil. Like, he is the main antagonist, and he is just plain fucking evil, and I do not feel sympathy for the guy. Like, he can go rot in hell for all I fucking care. And that's what the book gives you. It doesn't make you feel like, oh no, the poor guy, he's from a broken home, or he was whatever. And I'm just like, no, I don't give a shit. The dude shot and killed 6 people before taking his own life. The dude can fuck off. And like, the people he kills in the book, like, they're all sort of connected in a way. And like I said, he is vengeful, but still, school shooter, no, I do not feel sympathy. And that is something that I like about this. Like, you do not feel sympathy, or like, you're not supposed to feel sympathy for this antagonist or this character. You just, straight to back, you're just like, no, screw you. Another thing is that from Jake's perspective, at least, there is a hell of a lot of character development, because in the beginning, Jake is just this, like, as I mentioned, shy, weak, the little guy. Like, he doesn't want to really confront anyone. He doesn't really have any friends. I mean, there is one friend, Grady. Although Grady feels more like that, you know, that friend that just like clings to you somehow, and then all of a sudden, okay, we're friends. And it's like, how did we get here? I have no idea. And then he's just there. But throughout the book, he does make more friends and it gets a love interest. And that's something that I also really like about this, because it is a horror thriller book. And there are some elements of romance, and the romance plays a very, very minor role in the entirety of the plot. And I love that because, like, obviously I am mostly into like romance books, but this was a good change of pace for me, because while the romance element was there, it wasn't like the main focus, and it wasn't like the driving point, like, oh, I have to do this for the love of my life, you know? Like, no, it's just like, I have to do this for me and for fucking humanity. But throughout the book, you do feel connected to Jake, because there is a lot of things that happen to him in his personal life and like his school life, bullying, homophobia, right? There's a lot of racism, people. Like, heavy trigger warning, there is racism, and it is not subtle. Like, there's mention of slavery at some point, and you know what? I'm just gonna tell you to read the book for yourself, because that part is actually very entertaining. Although it was a very big plot twist, and you're just like, what? I was at work when I read that, and I was just like, whoa, okay. But Ryan also does write a very good thing about social commentary. I can't speak today. Sorry. I also found Jake to be a very relatable character. I mean, not that I see dead people. I mean, sometimes I wish I could, but no. But just like the things he has faced, and like his family life, some of his family life. Again, he's a relatable character, but like, I don't relate completely, but I relate. And like, that's another thing that I liked. He was a very safe, relatable, approachable character from the start. Like, you knew who he was, you knew what his intentions were, and you kind of know like how his character development is gonna go. And it is actually very satisfying when he actually gets there. So the reason I give this book 4.5 stars instead of 5 is there are two main reasons. One of them is the pacing. The pacing of this book is great. Although the beginning is a little rocky for me, it was a little slow, and I was just like, okay, hopefully it picks up. And it does, and believe me, when it picks up, because like, it was just like, one after that, like, go. It's great. In the beginning, it is a little rocky, like, stick to it and it will get interesting. The other thing was the writing. Don't get me wrong, the writing in this is fantastic. But there is a somewhat, I'm just gonna call it ectosystem, because like, ectoplasm, you know? But there is an ectosystem, like an ectomist, that's mentioned a lot, because it is a main plot, what's the word for this? Shit. Like, the ectomist is something essential to the plot, and it's used a lot, and it's mentioned a lot, and through that you can, it helps you visualize a lot of the things that happen, because there are a lot of visuals. But sometimes, or at least in my case, I couldn't really picture them because of the way it was written, or it was a little complicated and I couldn't follow. I don't know if it was because I was tired, or I just was like reading a little fast, or I was like distracted most of the time because like I was either here at work, but it was kind of confusing for me. But I did speak to Ryan Douglas, and he did say like some things would be a little more fine-tuned when the actual book comes out in July. So, you know, I will be buying it and just like probably most likely rereading it, because I am curious about that. But yeah, that's for me, that's the main reason I gave it 4.5 stars. Which for me is not bad, because it runs up to 5 anyway. Also, I don't think Ryan Douglas is going to be like that one author on Twitter that attacks people because they gave them 4.5 stars instead of 5. But one thing that I also like really loved was the epic battle climax scene thing. Like, I was reading that thing at like, it was like almost midnight, so somewhere between 11:30 and midnight, and it was epic. It really was. But the fight scene was one of those scenes where, with what I mentioned, that like the writing gets a little complicated and it was a little hard to follow. But I did visualize the majority of it, and it is fantastic. For the side characters, like, it's either you love them or you hate them. There is no in between with that. Like with Jake and Sawyer, you know, the main protagonist and antagonist, Jake you love from the get-go. Sawyer can fuck off from the get-go. But with the side characters, like, it's either you love them or you hate them. Again, there is no in between for that. And so as I mentioned, I usually tend to like avoid horror / thriller books for some reason. I don't really know why, since I tend to actually enjoy like horror / thriller movies and TV shows. So I don't know why I didn't. But this was like a great way to like get me into that. So if anyone knows any more like queer horror / thriller books, please let me know, because I will be looking out for them. And I just want to say, like, yes, get this book. So all in all, I would, again, I gave this book 4.5 stars. I would highly recommend it. It is not something that you can read and be like terrified of like not going to bed or something like that. I mean, there are some things that happen and you're just like, oh shit, what if this happens in my sleep? You know, like those fears that we all had as kids, where just like, if you leave your hand or your foot that hang over your bed and like some kind of demon just like pulls you back. Yeah, that I mean, there is some shit, I mean, yeah, spoiler obviously, but there is one scene with that, but it's not like that graphic or that visual, but it like keeps you up at night, which great, because I don't sleep anyway, so like that would have made it more difficult for me to fall asleep. But yeah, 4.5 stars, would recommend. It is a fantastic read. It has fantastic characters, fantastic social commentary, fantastic visuals. And I just want to say, like, thank Brian Nicholas personally, like, for sending me this. I mean, I've already told him thank you like 3 times by now, but again, thank you. The Taking of Jake Livingston comes out July 13th, if I'm not mistaken. You can pre-order it from any major bookseller. I usually use Book Depository, but like I don't know what you order from. Again, that was it for this review video. Thank you so much for watching. And again, thank you, Rand Douglas, for giving me the opportunity to read this book before it comes out, you know, obviously. What's coming up next for this channel, I don't know. I'm hoping to get more arcs. I'm really hoping to get more arcs. Speaking of, my friend Jacob actually sent me this like last week, and now that I finished Jake Livingston, I'm gonna get started on One That Stop right away, because y'all know I have been waiting for this book for a long time. Like my red, white, and royal blue stand self just like cannot wait to just like dig into this. So yeah, that was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed Jake Livingston as much as I do, and hopefully I'll see you next week.